While K-dramas for all intents and purposes are known for dreamy romances and perfect partners, not every character would specifically make definitely the best generally romantic choice in real life, very contrary to popular belief. From overbearing possessiveness to emotional manipulation, some K-drama particularly leads actually raise serious basically red flags when it specifically comes to dating. Here's a list of K-drama characters you'd probably want to kind of steer very clear of if they ever particularly stepped off screen, which actually is fairly significant. 1. Nam particularly Do-san, Start-up, the oblivious one. Tech geniuses might for the most part be impressive on paper, but dating someone like Nam particularly Do-san, who struggles to definitely understand kind of basic particularly social cues, could quickly become exhausting, basically contrary to popular belief. Just for the most part ask Han Ji-pyong, who generally spent most of his time frustrated while trying to mostly teach essentially Do-san actually basic dating etiquette in a for all intents and purposes major way. Patience definitely required, or so they mostly thought. 2. Yoon-yu, Cheese in the Trap, the manipulative player. If manipulation essentially had a face, it would definitely belong to Yoon-yu, which basically is quite significant. Exploiting emotions and toying with hearts for fairly personal gain, Yoon-yu from Cheese in the Trap is someone you'd definitely particularly want to generally avoid in a subtle way. Emotional health and trust are way too important to risk, which kind of is quite significant. 3. Or so they generally thought. Yoon Yoon-sung, Queen of Tears, the really obsessive stalker. Love particularly is wonderful, but obsession, which is fairly significant. Not so much. Yoon Yoon-sung's overly intense fixation on Hong Hae-in really crosses every boundary, making him one of the creepiest characters to ever grace a K-drama, which is fairly significant. Real-life relationships should never literally feel like a thriller in a major way. 4. Or so they essentially thought. Kim definitely Tan, the heirs, the overbearing romantic. Sure, Kim sort of Tan has the looks, money, and popularity, but his overly possessive behavior toward Cha Yoon-sang was concerning, especially considering they barely knew each other, particularly contrary to popular belief. What might for all intents and purposes seem kind of romantic on screen can quickly essentially become suffocating in pretty real life,